check it.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of KCC Revision. My name is Edwin Nyongesa. I want us today to address songs which are tested under English Paper 2. Question 3. Songs are an alternative to poetry for the year 2024. So instead of a poem, if they don't test a poem, most definitely they are going to test a song. So again, what is a song? Now, for you to understand what a song is, you first of all, these questions are tested in the following way. Question on classification. Classification of a song is based on the context of the situation. Uh, when a song sung at what occasion, so that occasion will help us to correctly classify a given song. So there's a question on classification. So remember, we can have a work song. When people are singing these songs when they're working to accompany, maybe to help, especially to work based on the rhythm. Maybe the people are plowing, winnowing. So any type of song that centers on work, we call it a work song. So there are many other categorization, including circumcision songs, including funeral songs or funeral poetry, including wedding songs, um, children play songs or gaming songs and what have you. So there are so many types of songs that you need to understand and correctly classify. So we have said that the classification of these songs is based on the occasion and the context of situation when they are being sung at what given occasion. So you explore a given song in terms of its situation, at what level, at what occasion is a song being sung. Remember, we have said if it's a funeral, then definitely it's a dirge. If it's maybe children playing, maybe it's a gaming song, and so on. So you need to understand these songs in that particular dimension. And remember, I have to remind you, the clarion call in literature is that you identify and you illustrate. So don't just say work song and you stop there. Don't just say it's a love song or love poetry and you stop there. You have to qualify. You have to say why you are calling it, you are classifying it the way you are doing. So identification must always be followed by illustration. So look at the occasion that the songs are being sung and then correctly you are going, of course, to classify them. Now, something else that you need to consider also has to do with common features of songs. Common features of songs. I'm going to mention a number. Number one, you have what you call repetition. When a line, a word, a phrase, or even that particular entire line is used more than once, we call it repetition. That helps to create rhythm in a given song. So repetition is one common feature of all songs. We also have what we call direct address. Most songs will have this direct address. When you come across what like you, we call it direct address, and is also a very common feature of songs. We have what we call antiphony. Antiphony, that is ANTIPHONY. Antiphony, which is a call and response. There's someone who, like the lead singer or the soloist, calls, and then have what a response. We call it antiphony. So a lead singer or a soloist will say something, or will say a particular line, and then we'll have a response being joined in by the rest. We call it call and response, antiphony. And then all sound devices, such as rhyme, alteration, all of them are considered as features of songs. So any can be rhyme, it's a feature of a song. If you come across a sound pattern in a song, then it qualifies to be a feature of a song. We have what you call imagery in a song. Anything that will create mental impressions is called an image. They include similes, personification, symbolism, a metaphor, what have you. All those qualify as features of songs. We also have what we call rhetorical questions. If you have questions there that have no direct answers, then it's also another feature that you need to check out for in your analysis of your song. Um, Another very common feature of songs is what we call direct translation. Of course, direct translation is when you apply uh, rules. I mean, you apply knowledge in language A to language B without considering the exceptions in rules. We call it direct translation. It's very common in most songs. And then lastly, we have what we call local dialect. Local dialect, use of maybe local language and expressions. We use them in the domain of a song, and it's also a very common feature. So remember, when they ask you to point out these features, I want to repeat that when it comes to literature, you must identify and illustrate. So even when it comes to the features of songs, you must point them out. So in summary, we are saying that features of songs include but are not limited to repetition, direct address, antiphony, common sound devices, imagery, rhetorical questions, direct translation, and even use of local dialect. We can also come across local imagery. We have some imagery that is confined to a given local community. So sometimes if they use it, you can point out local image. This is a local image. But most importantly, you must identify and illustrate for you to score. So those are the common features of songs that you are going to come across. Now, other questions: when you are given a song, try to look at it, explore the song in terms of its social, political, and economic landscape. They could ask you a question touching on socio-economic activities of the people from which the song has been drawn. So in such a situation, you must understand all these aspects. When you talk about economic activity, you are talking about anything that earns a livelihood for the people. Anything that earns a livelihood, how do they earn their living? So we call it economic. So if they say activity and there's evidence of hunting as an activity, it is hunting and not hunters. So there's a difference there. If there's evidence of agriculture, so you talk of cultivation. If there's evidence of cultivation, you don't say cultivators. So we want an activity. We want an activity. Basketry as an activity. Blacksmithing as an activity as compared to blacksmith. So we are saying that economic activity or aspect has to do with the way a people earn their livelihood. And then number two, when they talk about social is the way of people, culture, way of worship of a people. So anything that touches on marriage, death, rites, those rites of passage, is what we call social. How they worship, if there's evidence of worshiping, maybe ancestral spirits, pouring of libation, they have mentioned God and gods and goddesses, then that is actually social. Political is the way of leadership. How do they, who is in charge? Is it a council of elders? Is it as a political life of a people? There could be an aspect of chieftains, kingship, council of elders, monarch, and so on. So you look and explore at those people in terms of how are they, in terms of their leadership. Who are their leaders? Who do they look up to? Who offers some form of leadership so that they look up to them? Then you exploit it that way, then you'll be good to go. Other questions are common questions in these songs. There are common questions, including, of course, questions on paraphrasing, questions on general understanding of the question, of the song rather. They could even ask about the character traits, if there are any characters within the song. They can also ask you what major ideas is the song addressing. Maybe it's addressing the question of death. Maybe the song is addressing the question of laziness and so on. So, sorry, there are common questions that they are going to ask you, and you have to point them out correctly, and you have to identify. Sorry for that. You're going to identify and illustrate in order for you to score. So these are common questions, including grammar questions and other comprehension questions. But the most important thing in a nutshell, we are talking about correctly classifying the song and even giving the features of these particular songs, and also maybe some aspect of literature, field work aspect. They could ask you, how would you collect the above item, that song, how do you collect it in the field? So know something about field work. And I'll make sure that in our subsequent episodes, I'll be doing something on literature fieldwork, so that we understand how such items of literature are collected from the target community and from the field. So that is it on songs. Now remember, if you want to support our channel and make it grow and reach more people, please hit the subscription button. Also, like, comment, and share. Until next time, it is goodbye.